Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Keep those questions and suggestions coming. I get to them as soon as I possibly can. Now, just recently, we went over the 14 delay pedals and the 14 reverb pedals in the Tone Master Pro. Keeping in that spirit, we are going to go over the 21 stomp boxes in the Tone Master Pro. But before we hit the model guide, let me show you the presets that I put together for this test first. I made two new test presets for this video. Stompbox Test 1 has 10 Stompbox pedals. Boost, Ranger Boost, Bluesmaker, Royal Tone, Enchanter, Green Box, Mythic Drive, Nashville Overdrive, Tube Overdrive, Orange Box, and the 65 Deluxe Reverb amp only. Looking at the second Stompbox test preset, we start off with Hard Clip Distortion, Maximus Drive, Pugilist Distortion, Rodent, Big Green, Big Horn, Round Fuzz Germanium, Round Fuzz Silicon, Very Fuzz, Octave Fuzz, and Octobot. And once again, we're using the 65 Deluxe Reverb amp only. Alright guys, I've got the Tone Master Pro model guide opened, and under Effects Stompbox, the first entry is the boost pedal. Simple pedal that offers up to 10 dB of pure clean boost. Controls, level, adjust overall signal output strength. I've been putting this one after the amp for lead purposes. I mean, because you know, when you go from playing full chords to playing single note leads, you need something to boost your level, otherwise you will get lost in the mix. This does a good job of taking care of that. So I put all the stop boxes in bypass mode because if I didn't, wow, what a noise that would make. So here's my raw sound. And here's the boost pedal at +5. You know, of course, you can turn it down to 0. So there's no boost. That's basically the same thing as having it in bypass. So again, here's +5 dB. Okay, now let's go up to 10 and see what happens. If I put that in bypass, we get this. One more time. Active. And bypassed. Ranger Boost. Distortion effect inspired by the 60s era Dallas Rangemaster treble booster. Like the original, it couldn't be simpler. A single on-off switch and a single control knob. Controls, level. Boost the signal and treble frequencies. If I remember right, Jimmy Page used to use a Dallas Rangemaster treble pedal in the early days of Led Zeppelin. Okay, here's the Ranger Boost. Bluesmaker. Overdrive effect inspired by the 90s era Marshall Bluesbreaker pedal. Controls. Gain. Adjust signal level in preamp stage, typically adding distortion at higher settings. Tone. Adjust tonal color. Volume. Adjust overall loudness. Version switch. Selects between version 1, warmer, and version 2, brighter overdrive variations. This was one of those pedals that I had heard about, but I have never ever seen one, but I heard that they were really, really cool. The Blues Maker. Let's just try version 2. And again, the bypass sound is this. Royal Tone. Overdrive effect inspired by the Analog Man Prince of Tone, a variation of the Marshall Blues Breaker, and featuring 3 selectable gain modes. Controls, gain, tone, presence adjusts high frequencies, volume, and the mode switch selects among boost, overdrive, and distortion modes. Now, I've never had a Prince of Tone, but I actually did have a King of Tone probably around 10 years ago. That's one I should have probably held on to, but it went with all the others. The Royal Tone. Enchanter. Overdrive effect inspired by the Paul Cochran Timmy pedal, long prized for its transparent tone, which leaves amp tone uncolored. Bonus points if you caught the Python reference. Controls. Gain, bass, adjusts low frequencies. Treble, adjusts high frequencies. Volume, boost switch, extra gain increase. The Timmy was another one of those, man, I have got to get this pedal, and then I never ended up getting one. The Enchanter. Green Box. Overdrive effect inspired by the original late 70s Ibanez TS-808 tube screamer. Controls. Level. Adjust distorted signal output level without changing normal signal level. Overdrive. Adjust the amount of signal distortion. Tone. Adjust the amount of high frequency contour. Lower settings are mellower. Higher settings have more treble and bite. Blend. Adjust the mix of clean and overdrive signals. Set to full clockwise for full effect. Oddly enough, I have never ever had a tube screamer, but I did have a Bad Monkey, which was a pretty good copy of it. The Green Box. Mythic Drive, inspired by the 90s era Klon Centaur germanium diode overdrive. Controls, gain, treble, and output. My wallet has never been fat enough for a Klon, but I did get a Soul Food, then I dumped that for an Archer. Kept the Archer for a while, that was a good pedal. The Mythic Drive. Nashville Overdrive. Overdrive effect inspired by the Noble's ODR-1BC. Prized for its full-bodied, throaty voice, the other green overdrive has long been a secret weapon among Nashville session guitarists. And I do believe how that started was Tom Bukovac bought up like 100 of them, kept some for himself, gave some away to his friends, and then sold the rest of them. So it became the standard drive used in Nashville for a good 10 years. Thing of it was, I think they were right around $40 back in the 90s. Now an original 90s unit can sell for over $1,600. The Nashville Overdrive. Tube OD. Distortion effect inspired by the 4-knob BK Butler tube driver. Controls: drive, level, high, low, bias. Adjust virtual tube bias voltage, which helps tailor the amount of asymmetric clipping in the tube stage. And tube switch. Select 12AT7 for slightly more gain and smoother earlier breakup than the 12AX7. Interesting thing about this pedal is it's handmade, and the price is only $299 direct from the factory. I mean, that seems pretty impressive. The Tube Overdrive. And while we're here, let's try that 12AT7 tube. Orange Box. Distortion effect inspired by the original late 70s Boss DS1. Controls: distortion, tone, and level. For some reason, I thought this pedal was made by Orange Amplifiers. Sorry, boss. And now the Orange Box. Hard clip distortion. Distortion effect inspired by the 70s era MXR Distortion Plus. Controls, distortion, and output. It's another pedal that I've never tried. Maximus Drive. Distortion effect inspired by the Seymour Duncan Palladium gain stage pedal. Dual preamp gain stages and 4-band active EQ provide a myriad of tonal options. Controls: gain, resonance, adjust low frequency preamp gain, level, bass, treble, presence, mid-level, mid-frequency, boost level, and boost switch. I think I may have tried this at a summer NAMM show some years ago. And now the Maximus Drive. Pugilist Distortion. Modern Fender distortion effect with 2 separate distortion engines that can be blended together or used in series. Controls: gain A, sets amount of preamp signal overdrive for gain A. Tone A, adjusts tonal color of gain A. Level: gain B, sets amount of preamp signal overdrive for gain B. Tone B, adjusts tonal color of gain B. Blend: adjust gain A and gain B mix. Mode switch: blend gain A with gain B or link them in series. Bass boost switch emphasizes lower frequencies. This looks to be a copy of Fender's Pugilist Distortion pedal. Here's the Pugilist Distortion. Rodent. Distortion effect inspired by the late 70s Proco Rat. Controls. Distortion. Filter. Turn clockwise to attenuate high frequencies. Volume. Adjusts overall loudness. The good old tried and true Rat. And of course the Rodent. Big Green Fuzz. Fuzz effect inspired by the Electro Harmonix Green Russian Big Muff Pie. Controls, sustain, level, tone, blend, and mids. I got a Big Muff when the Triangle version came out sometime in late 1971 or early 1972. I used that pedal for 5 years. The Big Green Fuzz. Bighorn Fuzz. Distortion effect inspired by the classic Electro Harmonix Big Muff Pie Ram's Head model. Controls, sustain, level, tone, blend, and mids. The Ram's Head version of the Big Muff came out in 1973. The Bighorn Fuzz. Round-faced Germanium. Fuzz effect inspired by the classic late 1960s fuzz face made with the original germanium transistors. Controls, fuzz. Controls amount of fuzz produced. And volume. The original fuzz face was used by Jimi Hendrix, David Gilmour, George Harrison, and many, many others. The Germanium Round Fuzz. Round Fuzz Silicone. Round Fuzz Silicon. Fuzz effect inspired by the classic late 1960s fuzz face made with silicon transistors for slightly more brash tone. Controls, fuzz, and volume. The Silicon Round Fuzz. Very Fuzz. Fuzz effect inspired by the Seymour Duncan Tweak Fuzz, a modern take on the classic 2-transistor silicon fuzz. Controls, gain, level, and filter. Now, even though this is a fairly recent pedal, I think it came out like in 2007 or so, I've never really heard of it because it came out when I was more into being a keyboard player. The Very Fuzz, which is currently set on filter 5. Octave Fuzz. Fuzz effect inspired by the 60s era Tycho Brahe Octavia. Controls, boost, volume, octave switch. Activates upper octave effect. The Octavia is actually a Roger Mayer's pedal, but Tycho Brahe had been repairing them for Jimi Hendrix and decided to come out with their own version. The Octave Fuzz. Octobot. This Fender original Octave Fuzz provides a synth-like combination of octave down effect plus octave up fuzz. Controls: direct, adjust the dry signal level; down, adjust the octave down signal level; sizzle, adjust octave up fuzz signal level. The Octobot is a Fender original that originally came out in the Mustang series of amps. And then finally, the Octobot. Okay guys, that was my longest video to date. I mean, it went over a half hour, I think. But again, hey, we went over 21 stomp boxes, so that's a lot of stomping that went on there. Again, I would say consider this a basic primer for the stomp boxes because, I mean, like if we would have spent just 3 minutes on each one, we would have gone over an hour going over those stomp boxes, and I don't think anyone wants to do that. But if you have any other questions and suggestions, drop them my way and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Now next Wednesday, I'll be having all new content. You do not want to miss that, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right guys, have a fantastic weekend and I'll be talking with you next week.